I really wanted to talk about something that has slightly kind of made me a bit afraid for this game, or what we are going to see next. Now, you guys know I am super excited for this game. I know a lot of you guys are as well, and do not get me wrong, this looks absolutely flawless. It is going to be one of the biggest games on PlayStation 4 in a long time, pretty much. I guess you could say, like, exclusive wise, and it's by far, like, I guess, like, all pressure on Insomniac Games, okay? Now, where I've been speaking, like, so much positive about the game, I don't want you guys to feel like I am biased, because I feel like a lot of people have been feeling like I am being that way, so I just pretty much wanted to share something that isn't a big deal, but it's something that, you know, is on my mind and is leaving me with a lot of questions, and I also wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on it. And then also we're going to be talking about a demo possibly, you know, coming out before its release date. It was just a suggestion that one of you rebels put in the comments on the last video, so I want to touch upon that and the whole kind of like a demo section category, I guess you could say. Like, I don't really know how else to describe that. But jumping into what I am afraid of. So if we go back to like 2016, and you know, like how people were going downgrades, downgrades, downgrades. Like, I even made a video talking about, look, the downgrades, like, sure, people will see it as a downgrade, but to some people it's actually not. That stuff is all good as far as like visual, graphical wise and whatnot goes. However, there's something a bit more aggravating. So back in the 2016, you know, trailer, when Spider-Man's literally running through the cafe and there's like a bunch of people in there. I mean, like, this is one overcrowded cafe, alright? Like, literally, it's just insanely packed, alright? But it looks cool because he is literally just destroying everything. It's one big mess, and then he dives through the window, and, you know, I feel sorry for the guy who owns that building because he's gonna have to pay for that shit. But pretty much, that whole scene was just super epic, right? And I will show you guys, like, little GIFs in the background so you guys can get a better perspective on what I'm trying to point out here. So, we take all this visual footage here and we go to like the 2017 gameplay video. Kind of like to give you guys something very similar. When Spider-Man's running through the offices, it is literally empty. Now, I know you guys might be like, does this actually mean anything? Now, I'm going to talk a bit more about that specific scene in a second and why I kind of feel like afraid about it, but going back to like how packed the streets are and so forth, back in the 2016 trailer, even if you take a look at the streets when he's like diving off the building and X, Y, and Z, everything is just so packed out. Pretty much, there is so much life, if you will. And that's what you want, right? That is definitely something you want. You don't want it to kind of just be like empty and dry and like literally clones and clones of the same freaking people multiple times. Now, when we take a look at a gameplay video that, of course, we got at E3, I really like went back on this and tried to like analyze, am I seeing the sort of same amount of people on ground and X, Y, and Z? And I kind of came to like the realization that, I mean, if you guys take a look as well, that things are very much limited. It's not as busy, it's daytime, it's New York City, and this goes back to what I was saying about the offices. So when Spider-Man dives right through there, I was kind of like feeling, if we're getting that stuff in the previous scene in like the cafe and all that sort of stuff, why are we not getting that in the office? Why is there like literally no one in this place? So look, it might be something very minor, and I don't want you guys to feel like, okay, I'm just picking out something petty here. The reason I'm picking it out is because it's an open world game, and I really don't want this to be like such a basic thing that kind of disappears, that genuinely has a big impact on the gameplay. And like I said a second ago, being New York City, being at such a large freaking, you know, place, essentially, it's meant to be packed of people, and especially in the offices in daytime. I would understand if it was nighttime, but if you had dived through there and there were like people essentially like running away, of course, because the building was crashing down, and maybe like you can grab two people and run out with them and save them, I don't know. I feel like all of that would have made it a whole lot more cooler, but I'm really afraid now because I'm like, is this actually happen? Like, is this how it's gonna be? I really don't want to see something that basically, you know, I get Spider-Man's constantly like web swinging around, alright? He's not meant to be on the ground, essentially, if you want to look at it in that type of perspective, but you're gonna be on ground some, I guess, like, point in the entire game. Like, you don't just constantly want to be web slinging around all the time, even though you will do that, but hopefully you guys get what I mean. There's a lot of on ground, like, I guess, actions that can go on, and like missions and so forth. Like, the list just really goes on for those. And you know how we've been talking about, look, if you were Spider-Man, you go onto the ground, or like you're Peter Parker, you switch into Spider-Man, people's reactions, all that sort of stuff, diversity, I guess you could say. Like, it's really something big, I guess you could say. So get in the comment section below, let me know what you think on that. Maybe I am just making a big deal, but I didn't want to be biased and just talk about like how much I love this game, because I do, even though it's not out. But that's something that kind of like slightly concerned me, but I want you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section below about that one. Now, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about, as I mentioned at the very beginning, is about a demo. So one of you rebels commented on the last video, he goes by DMX Gamer, he said, I hope they will make a demo before the game comes out, like if you think so. So I really love this whole idea of having a demo for, you know, any game really, because back with like the PlayStation 3 and all that stuff, I guess like that's when it was at its peak, like the whole demo stuff going on for like games, like big games essentially, that would just do really well. Now, here's the thing, as much as I would love this to happen, the sad truth is it won't happen, because it's safe to say like demos nowadays are extremely rare, and if there is a demo for a game, it's either going to be like a very small game company behind it, and it's probably going to be one of their first ever games in like the gaming industry pretty much, or whatever category it will be in. You never really see that stuff. I mean, like, sure, you do see betas for games, and yeah, they are essentially demos and, you know, whatnot, except you got that limit, whereas like demos, it was like, hey, you download this and you know, pretty much you could do whatever you want. You have like your boundaries. Some games will let you play one mission, some games were like, hey, you know, play a mission, free roam for about 10 minutes, and then that's it. You can never play me again until you restart your console. So, like, all of that stuff was really cool, but I think the sad truth is, it's not something that would happen, but it's simply because it's just rare now. And also another thing I wanted to mention on this, like, you gotta see it in a different perspective, because sometimes demos for games can, of course, you know, drive more sales to a video games, or like do the complete opposite. Because what if you had a game, alright, let's just say Spider-Man in this case as we're talking about it, but like your demo essentially doesn't showcase exactly what the people want, or you're limited to certain stuff, and it really just changes everyone's perspective on the game. Now, bear in mind, it's going to be such a big hit, it's like one of the most anticipated games of the year. Do you really want to drop a demo to change people's minds sometimes in actually purchasing the games? Everyone has their own view on that whole demo thing, but that's pretty much like the current situation we're in with video games. It's like, you can release a demo and it will drive more sales, you can release a demo and it could do the opposite. Like, it's either gonna go left or right, and it's like too much of a risk to take, especially when your game is like so anticipated. It's like you really want to make sure you deliver flat out when the release date comes, and in between that you just want to release nothing but cool shit. But get in the comment section below. I mean, if you did have an option, would you want to see a Spider-Man demo? What would you want to do in the demo? I really wish it would happen, but let's be honest, it won't. But also, talk to me in the comment section below about the whole civilian and NPC situation. Am I just really overreacting on this stuff, or like, is SuperRebel really onto something here? I don't know. I don't really want to talk bad about the game, because honestly speaking, there's not a whole bunch of bad in this game. There is literally like a handful, and a whole bunch of like pros for this game, at least from what we have seen so far. Bear in mind, we've not seen a huge amount. Like, we've only had screenshots, 2 trailers pretty much, and then a gameplay video. So as far as like your quantity to like look at footage and analyze whatnot, you're kind of limited. But hey, get in the comment section below, let me know what you think. If you missed yesterday's video, or the day before I think, it was talking about Sony's new announcement on how they're gonna focus on like big titles that are exclusive to their console. So it's basically great news for Spider-Man PS4, because of course after the game, you know, releases, you don't want it to just like disappear off the chart essentially. So all about keeping a game refreshing, maybe releasing it more often and not huge gaps. So check out that video if you haven't already, subscribe for more awesome content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, have yourselves an awesome day, and adios amigos.